The year was 1777. The ground was frozen. The hope was thin. And America was losing. At Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, General George Washington's Continental Army camped in bitter cold, nearly defeated by starvation, sickness, and despair. The British had seized Philadelphia. Supplies had vanished. Congress was indecisive. Morale was at its lowest. Among these frostbitten soldiers walked a man draped in mystery. No rank, no regiment, no record. The troops called him only one name: the Ghost. He arrived in silence, tall, gaunt, with a scar running down his jaw. He carried no musket, only a journal. No one knew where he came from, but Washington noticed him. At night, he'd disappear into the woods. At dawn, he'd return, whispering into the general's tent. Then, like vapor, he vanished. But what he brought back changed the war. His real name was Major James Armistead, though few knew it then. A black man, born into slavery in Virginia, Armistead volunteered to serve the American cause, not with a rifle, but with his mind. In 1781, under the guidance of the brilliant French General Marquis de Lafayette, Armistead became America's most critical spy. His assignment: infiltrate the British forces under General Cornwallis. But to do it, he would need to betray both his enemies and appear to betray his friends. With forged freedom papers, Armistead posed as a runaway slave seeking refuge with the British. The Redcoats welcomed him, using him as a servant and messenger. But they had no idea. Every word they spoke in his presence was being memorized and quietly passed to Lafayette. Armistead became so trusted that Cornwallis began using him to deliver false orders between British generals. Ironically, Armistead carried British lies in one hand and American truth in the other. For months, he fed both sides what they wanted. He witnessed British troop movements, overheard military strategies, and even learned of their plans to entrench at Yorktown. His intelligence would become the turning point of the war. When Lafayette and Washington received Armistead's final message, they acted immediately. The entire Franco-American alliance surged toward Yorktown. As Cornwallis fortified his position, thinking the Americans were still hundreds of miles away, the trap was already closing. Washington's troops arrived from the north. French naval ships blocked escape by sea. On October 19, 1781, General Cornwallis surrendered. The British dream of crushing the American rebellion died with a whisper. And behind that whisper was the ghost soldier, James Armistead. But freedom did not come quickly. Despite being the man who helped end the war, Armistead was still legally enslaved. Spies weren't officially recognized as soldiers. His bravery, his risk, his unmatched intelligence work, it earned him no reward. Until Lafayette returned. In 1787, the French general petitioned the Virginia legislature, calling Armistead a faithful servant of liberty and a man who risked everything for America's freedom. Thanks to his intervention, James was finally granted emancipation. He added Lafayette's name to his own out of gratitude and lived out his life as James Armistead Lafayette, a free man and an unsung American hero. His story remained buried in history books for generations, overshadowed by louder legends and forgotten by a nation he helped build. But to those who know, he remains the shadow that changed the war, the man who walked through enemy camps with a calm face and a burning purpose, the ghost soldier who never fired a shot, but struck the deadliest blow of all. He walked into the enemy's fire with empty hands and walked out with victory in his grasp.